So the idea of a competency center is one that has evolved and is starting to mature in a lot of leading organizations. You write about a BI competency center. Exactly what is a BICC?
Well, I've observed that the questions are becoming more complex in the analytic world over the last 10 years. And as this maturity comes forward, people have to take a step back and understand what they're actually doing. It's taking a breath or a second sober look and looking at your risk management strategies. It's making sure that the initiatives actually line up with the corporate vision, ethics, social accountability, community, and green approaches, and so forth. It's not enough for the companies to give millions of dollars a year to charity. They have to walk the walk too. A competency center would be, at first, I believe, a virtual organization which looks for advocacy of responsibility and professional approaches in a BI practice. For instance, when we talk about money laundering laws in various countries, the actual hiding of money can be tracked through transactions. But now laws are changing so that things that are illegal, even happening inside companies, are coming under scrutiny. It's really the BI people who can actually see funny insider trading and so forth first, because they can see the trends in the data.
The idea of a BICC is really starting to evolve and mature in leading organizations. There's always lots of risks and complications in managing data, and especially in business intelligence analytics. What are some of the risks associated with the handling of information that can be controlled through a BI competency center?
Education is key. If you centralize the people who are building communication pieces around policies for privacy in the company and how they relate to the regulatory environment in which they work, security of data, we've all heard of the big breaches which hit the newspapers, understanding personal and professional responsibility around that. Confidentiality and marking data appropriately for confidentiality as it moves throughout the company. Timing is also an issue that can be educated on. The release of information vis-a-vis market announcements, aware of data quality due to various timing issues for the information chain, pending updates and their impacts which people may not be aware of. All of these can be enumerated for the staff, both in BI and on the business side as well.
So in terms of a BICC management team, who's involved in both the integration as well as the execution of a BICC? And what does it look like in a typical organization?
You would be building a responsibility chart against 4 basic roles. You would have the senior business stakeholders involved, the senior management in the BI IT side, you would have executives, and then legal or risk office. Jointly, they would control the competency center, the policies that need to come out, communicating those policies, and making sure that they're instantiated in the systems properly.
So there's always lots of risks and complications associated with managing information and reporting against information. What are some of the risks associated with bias within the BI Competency Center itself?
There's quite a lot of complacency around bias in organizations today, and they should be very careful about bias as it creeps into their BI programs. For instance, what I call hunch and search. A presenter may have a position, but the data doesn't really support it. There may be a disconnect between the graphs shown and what the presenter wants to suggest. This happens in politics all the time, as the same data is presented and interpreted differently by different people. Another type of bias is to actually collect data based on your needs and wants to support a particular position. Ignoring a bunch of data just because it's inappropriate or uncomfortable for you is not really a professional approach. Sampling can be biased as well. Of course, humans choosing their own sample is a problem. So always use some software in order to establish an appropriate sample for what you're doing in BI. And of course, context and culture always comes into play. Document all your assumptions in a project. All your requirements analysis and design should be available to the end users in a BI environment.
So here we are on a snowy day in the winter of 2011. What does the roadmap for the rest of the year hold as it pertains to industry developments around data governance and business intelligence?
Well, hopefully the BI Competency Center will continue to gain control. There'll be more employment and jobs out there for risk officers, ethics officers, and data governance will continue to gain momentum, and more people will be involved in that in corporations. We'll be driving data governance into the business through policy settings and data management at a functional level. And more data governance programs will be operationalized through active compliance programs, both from a regulatory point of view and from a dashboard metrics point of view within companies.
So Deborah, on behalf of the audience, I'd like to thank you for sharing your thoughts today. For people who want to dig deeper into the topic of data governance and business intelligence, where can they go to find out more about yourself, about your area of expertise?
Well, you should first of all go to broadstreetdata.com and then also go and look at dama.org, D-A-M-A.org, a professional organization, not-for-profit, for data management professionals around the world with an expertise in data governance. And also take a look at bocx.ca, the Business Objects Customer Exchange, which is a progressive forum for BI professionals.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.